about the other day at the office. I know. I think you and I assessed it probably pretty much. It's not a, so,
Refused on there, whatever you want.
Those things happen.
yeah. Just been there to talk to him.
Yeah, I signed the book.
Yeah. Okay, we're live now. Now call to order the Huntingburg Board of Public Works. It stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray. Dear Father God, thank you for members of this board and their dedication and to the city of Huntingburg. And we ask now, we go in this meeting that you may open their hearts, open their minds, and that the decisions that we make here today are for the good of all people of the city of Huntingburg. For these things we ask in your son's name. Amen. Amen. First thing I'll ask for, you had a chance to see the minutes. Did I hear a motion to accept?
To accept the minutes.
Got a motion? Got a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any of those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of claims. We have a motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
You got a first and second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. First thing on the agenda today, we have, is Catherine, you representing the Huntingburg Christmas Stroll?
Yes.
You have an application, a few changes this year, but not really from our standpoint probably, but from your standpoint.
My,
Have to do.
what kind of changes are we talking about, Mayor? That's something I maybe don't
Well,
know
you're doing
about.
some new marketing things, which is great, but I don't think there's any changes in our expectations, so.
Okay, all right, good deal. Yes, Catherine Wilder here, from the Huntingburg Merchants Association, to request approval for our Christmas stroll event. This is our 40th annual Christmas stroll. We'd like to have the street closed, 4th Street. Let's see. Geiger Street East to 231, and then 231 East to Jackson Street. To be closed on Thursday afternoon, and I believe that would be November 13th.
Yeah,
Okay. Then also requesting trash cans, please, again. And do we need to have liners for them, or does the city have that?
What did we do for, you know what we did for the pumpkin
I do
stroll?
not recall.
I think we might have had some.
you put liners in those
I know
prior
we
to the
want
stroll.
liners in, 'cause
You
otherwise-
brought them with liners, so then we'll need to have liners to replace them,
Yeah, we'll start with liners in them,
and then
and then if you have some to replace them, as you take them out, that would be great.
fantastic.
We will work with the Parks Department. We'll put the truck in a normal place where we can put the
Those
bags.
bags,
Yeah,
maybe behind
Yeah.
the
there
TOC.
weren't really that many last year. I know Steve and I.
Yeah, we're on trash duty.
Yeah,
Thank you for
we
that.
pretty much did. There wasn't that many.
And
If it
it-
wasn't for the hot chocolate, it wouldn't have been too bad.
Right, right. Or
All the
that-
kids
the
have
half
drinking
drink hot
the half
chocolate,
drink hot
exactly.
chocolates.
Also requesting sandbags for our lighting displays at Market Street Park. My understanding is that these lighting displays come with the bag that sand would go in,
Um,
I got 'em.
but we would need sand.
I got 'em.
You do?
I got 8, Kimberly gave me 8 green sandbags yesterday.
Fantastic. Then that's
So,
what
I'll-
came with our lighting
Yeah,
displays.
'cause I said
Wonderful.
Something about the orange, and she said, well, the green came with the displays, so
Gotcha.
we'll get them filled and delivered up there. When do you need those?
I believe that lighting display. I'm really not certain. Let me check on that. I'm not certain when that is being installed.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know and we'll bring them up there.
Somewhere between the 9th and the 13th are being installed.
That's what I was
So-
thinking too.
So
However,
they
the
would really need to
9th
be there by that Friday.
The 9th is, the tree lighting.
Yeah,
The 9th is the tree lighting.
yeah.
Sunday, the 9th. So I'm wondering, I'm betting that lighting display will already be set up by then.
Yeah.
How about I just plan on bringing them like November the first?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yes.
They're gonna be right there by where the big tree, where is this gonna be?
Stage.
It's going to be the stage and the, concrete walkway.
It'll be where the ramp comes down around the stage and it'll go around the front of the stage.
Somewhere around the stage there.
That would be fantastic because then the installation guy can get to them easily.
Yeah. Put them on
Perfect.
that center sidewalk so we don't kill the grass.
Right.
there.
Mm.
Yeah, and they've already, Dustin, you're on the Parks Board. They've already approved everything that you need
Yeah,
approved for the Market Street Park.
We did that.
They've met with,
meeting.
John Rudipoler on electrical connections, for both the lighting as well as the one food truck that needs a 50 amp.
50 amp.
So I think we're set with everything. I mean, the biggest thing right now is just street department getting the cans, getting the normal barriers up that we have to put up prior to the event.
Yeah, hard barricades wherever you can put them, soft barricades.
We'll do like we always do,
Sure.
three of them will have the
Right.
hard barricades, and then, Old National there will put the soft ones, so.
Perfect, perfect. Family Roots will be decorating the gates, after you have them installed, so.
I know you're adding more vendors on the street and, the town hall will be utilized more during this event.
Correct.
So,
We had originally anticipated using Old Town Hall for all of the vendors, but we've had quite a few vendors that want to set up on the street instead. So, which is perfectly fine. We just thought with the lighting display being over in Market Street Park to kind of tie in Old Town Hall, more of the area. So we will have vendors inside of Old Town Hall as well as out on the street. There'll be 4 food trucks down at Market Street Park. Like we said, the 50 amp food truck. I think you said you'd set up in the same area, under the pavilion where that normally takes place for the 4th Fridays.
so, yeah, let's, I make the motion we accept. I mean, the only, we've got everything else that we need. I'm looking at it, everything's here. They've, done away with the fee, the Parks Department for the facilities at Market Street Park, so.
Thank you.
So I make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next,
Please join us.
thank you, for your work on that too, Catherine.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
And we appreciate everything the city does to help us put this on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We have the bid tab form. This is for the street department roof. I did give you a little bit of an evaluation of the bids that are, there in front of you. Let you know that, we did have 5 bidders. Vulcan Valley Restoration Service, American Roofing and Metal submitted bids with all requirements met other than they did not list their subcontractors. Midwest, Sheet Metal and Schmidt Contracting both submitted complete bids. Midwest was quite a bit higher, on the bid. Vulcan Valley, they met all the requirements except for they didn't list any subcontractors. They may not have subcontractors, American Roofing and Metal. But their bid was about, as you can see, $3,250 higher than Schmidt Contracting. You got to be aware of 2 things: that start dates with these vary greatly. We have, let me get the exact dates here, but we're looking at Schmidt Contact contracting with a start date of May 4th, 2026. They may be able to get it to it earlier, depending on winter weather and those type of things, and make an early spring project. The other bid, remember, it was 45 days that they could,
That we're gonna start within 30 days after the notice to proceed, complete within 45 days of starting.
yeah, I don't have that on here, do I?
It's on the tab sheet.
Okay, it's on tab sheet. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, there we go. I knew we had it somewhere. So, yeah, now notice to proceed has to come after appropriation of funds that once they're appropriated by the council, which probably be October 28th. First hearing will be October 14th, and then we have a second hearing for the for October 28th. And after that, we'll be able to sign our notice to proceed. So that's the dates we're looking at. So the two things we got, I guess, really got to consider. There were alternate bids. The two alternates on here included putting a 0.6 versus the 0.8, 0.06 versus a 0.08. Thinner material, same warranty, but having thinner material, I think, even though it doesn't impact the warranty, it can still impact the lifetime of what we're getting there. And for the changes we're looking at a difference of 21,000 on one bid and about 69 on the other. I don't know that it's worth it to go that way. I wouldn't suggest it. We're also looking at alternate two, going to a 20-year warranty versus a 25 with American Roofing and Metal. But I think we want to stick with the 25-year warranty for the difference in price. They're not hitting really much of a difference. There's no difference actually at all between the two. We'll tell you that Schmidt did call for a full adhesion. That means that they'll be not just connecting it on the ribs, but connecting it all the way across the roof from an adhesion standpoint. It's a Carlisle roofing material. We've got good references on both companies. They just did a big job down in Tulsa City area and some other areas, finished on time. Quality of the work was excellent. They moved through it. I've worked with Schmidt for 30 some years, and I actually had Carlisle roof installed by them back in the late 90s, a couple of them. That probably still around, but I don't know what questions you have, or we want to make a motion to accept one. I think the biggest difference there is the start time.
This material isn't temperature sensitive for application, doesn't matter if it's temperature.
What does the warranty cover?
It's a full replacement warranty, so
Okay, say something just flies through the air and tears it, is that a warranty? Is that under warranty?
the biggest thing that we have to, if something breaks it, such as it comes like hail damage is probably the most common thing you're gonna have. Most of them are not gonna be, they're not gonna be warranted against hail damage. It would end up becoming an insurance claim. I don't see, well, 30 some years of dealing with these roofs, I think I've had that happen twice. We had that, and actually even had a metal roof that we had to replace part of. We had a combination metal roof, asphalt roof down in Boonville with the company I was with that hail damage. We had to replace the roof. So it'd be the same as a TPO or any other. It's what we have above our heads right here, frankly. Same thing we have here. So it can be torn. It can happen. You have to be careful with contractors. Luckily, we have no equipment on the roof. There should be no reason for contractors to be on the roof. We got to worry about this one. We had HVAC units involved. We inspected to make sure they picked up their screws and didn't cause holes in the roof, that type of thing, installing the equipment. But we don't have to worry about that at the street department because there is no equipment on the roof itself.
Well, I consider this a patch. This is a patch roof. You would not build a new building and put this roof on it. It just wouldn't happen. This is a patch roof. I don't believe we need to patch that roof. I think it needs a new metal roof. It needs an R panel, just like what is up there. And you can replace the insulation and replace the metal for almost the same price as you're gonna pay for this patch job. I just don't think this is worth the cost.
Our
Doesn't have-
quote for replacement was in excess of 700,000.
That was for a standing seam roof that was hemmed. We don't need to do that either. It's way overpriced for what that roof needs out there.
And there are 3 buildings built on our side of Huntingburg right now with this type of roof. So it is used in new construction.
Jason, do you have a recommendation based on those two low bids and the time they're available to start?
I mean, to me, both of those contractors have, good reviews, so I don't have a problem with either of the contractors. To me, the biggest thing would be the start dates on them. American Roof is a little bit higher, $3,000 or something. But to me, the biggest thing is that start date and finish date. I think, leaving that thing open until May the 4th, we're probably gonna do more than $3,000 worth of damage in the interior of it. Cause every time it rains, it gets worse in there. So that would be my fear that, leaving it go till May the 4th. I'm not saying that we couldn't, and I'm not saying that it wouldn't hurt it, but I just think there's a chance that could do more damage, but.
Yeah, realize when we did bid base 1, we did specify the 0.08 TPO. However, we accepted any alternate bid for any other type of construction or material based that any contractor wanted to put a bid in for, whether it be metal, whether it be anything, tear off, replacement. We did give the ability to have alternate bids to consider those. We've received no other bids for any other type of application other than this.
I thought in one of our meetings, we had talked about getting some bids for metal replacement. I mean, I know you got one.
That's what that's what this was.
You got one bid to replace it with metal, but that's all you got. It's one. I mean, I feel like you got one with the more
Yeah.
expensive metal. I feel like I'm
We
kind
have,
of,
we have local contractors that will replace metal roofs. They could have bid on this and bid that metal job for you to consider. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, we left it open to any type of, on the alternate bids. In fact, they could put 2 alternates or 3 alternate type bids on here that we could compare.
It's not.
Nobody bid that type of construction or installation.
okay.
I'm still leaning with what Kerry mentioned that.
Yeah. I don't consider a 30-year roof a patch,
Yeah,
so
40-year warranty, pardon?
I don't consider a 30-year warranty, a 25-year warranty,
I don't-
30-year lifetime patch, but
Hmm.
yeah.
How do we know? I mean, what advances have been made in that stuff in 25 years? I mean, we lasted 25 years already and I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think,
I know from my standpoint, with talking to probably 4 out of these 5 contractors that bid on this, which to me, they obviously know a lot more than what I do when it comes to these type of things. And 4 out of the 5 that are listed on there told me that this was the best option for this roof. Now, they would do the same thing. I mean, they would tear it off and put a new one on there. But they said if you're trying to keep your costs down to where you need to, that this was the best option. The guy from Buncombe Valley, when he came and looked at it when I started this process about 30 years ago, this was the system that he recommended at that time. He said, this will be, you'll get your best product for your best price with this system, this TPO system. So I'm just throwing that out there that that's what these guys had, that do this all the time. That's what their recommendation was to me. So I don't care what anyway, but I just need to get it fixed.
Yeah,
Well,
our employees have
been saying
suffered
that for 2
too long
years.
with this. We need to get it done. We need to get it fixed. The damage that's occurring right now is not good. It's not good for the motivation of our employees there. Those guys work hard all day long out on asphalt, concrete, everything else. They want the roof fixed. We need to get it fixed.
We've sat here since last spring waiting for the other quotes. I mean, so how can we say that? You know, I mean, I agree with you, but
Well, it's,
you know.
it
it's
leaked the
been
day,
dragging.
it leaked the day we moved into the building, you know, and
No, we were,
so we can say that it's lasted this long, but it hasn't. It's leaked from day one. In fact, it was originally in the plan and they ran up short of money of doing it when they purchased the building, of doing it at that time. And they didn't requisition enough money to be able to make that happen at the time that the purchase was made. But the plan was always to replace the roof in the beginning. I'm the third friggin' mayor that's been involved in this, excuse me, but you know, we need to move on at some point. We can sit here and argue about construction techniques all day long, but we need to get that roof fixed. We've got a roof here. We've got a good price that's gonna give us 25 to 30 years, at least 25, if not 30 years on this roof. And I'm gonna make a motion to accept the bid for American Roofing and Metal at $328,000. We don't have a second, we die. I'll let you all explain it to our city workers that work in that building, why you don't want them to have a new roof. Do we have a second? Motion dies. Want to let your employees know they're not getting a roof? Thank you. Street Superintendent Jason Stamm got quotes to clean the ditch along Second Avenue.
Yeah, the note that I have there in that is I would like to ask for permission to get quotes to clean the ditch along Second Avenue, basically from Walnut Street to Van Buren. Runs there, by the trailer park, and then also runs along Casey's there. Basically that is a ditch that needs to be cleaned. We do not have the equipment to clean it. It's too deep to the reach. We don't have anything that'll reach that far. So I basically would like to have permission to go to some contractors that do have the proper equipment to do that and ask them to give me a quote, give me quotes for it, and then bring it back to you guys at the next meeting or whatever to determine whether or not that's something we want to move forward with.
do we have access to that ditch? We're gonna have to go on a private property then.
No, I don't think. I think most of it we could probably do from Second Avenue.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, we would have to get into trailer park down there, but I think that's why I said we don't have the equipment. We've done it down there with our backhoe, but it's very dangerous. And we do have to get on private property to do that when we do it with a backhoe. It needs basically it needs a regular track hoe in there to be able to do it.
So just that one section you're talking about is bad, or what about the rest?
Well, basically from where it comes out of the pipe at Walnut.
Yeah.
Basically all the way down to, actually, we could go to the bridge on Washington,
Yeah,
but that one gets tricky because it's hard to get to the ditch in there.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of easement right away in there to be able to get down through there. We try to do that one with our smaller equipment, But, the county is going to come in. I just talked to him a couple of weeks ago. They're going to come in probably, he said maybe this fall, if not this fall, maybe early next spring, to put some head walls on that bridge at Washington. There's a section of curb that's starting to fall in. When it rains, it washes out. So they're gonna put a couple of head walls on the west side of Washington Street there at that bridge to try to help alleviate that. And then they'll also kind of clean it up a little bit there by the bridge. So, I mean, I can get quotes to go, however far, but that was the area that would be the easiest access, I guess you could say.
You're saying all the way then to Jackson or Van Buren?
Yeah, from Van Buren
Van Buren, I'm sorry, Van Buren.
to
I meant say,
Washington,
yeah.
to Walnut.
Okay.
Van Buren and Second meet right there at that 90-degree curve, so that's basically where I was talking about.
I'll make the motion to get them quotes.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Okay. I will bring those back to the next meeting. Any question on the report that I turned in? If not, I will move on. I have a few other things to talk about. Next up, leaf pickup will start on Monday, October 13th. We will run that the same way we have for years. And that is the south side of 64, Highway 64 on Mondays and Tuesdays. The north side of 64 on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then Friday is kind of our catch-up day. Residents do not have to call into the city office to get on a list. We basically just drive the town on those days, on the south side on those days, and the north side on the other days. And then Friday, we just try to drive around and see if we find piles to pick up. Want to remind the residents when they do put their leaves out to put them in the curb line. Keep them away from parked vehicles, mailboxes, poles, things like that will help with our employees when they go to pick up these leaves. The winter limb yard hours will start on Saturday, November the 1st. That's before the next board meeting, so I wanted to announce that. Limb yard winter hours will start Saturday, November the 1st. Those hours are from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, 7 days a week. Fall cleanup, we talked about that at the last meeting, but I wanted to reiterate that. That's coming up next week, October 9th, 10th, and 11th. It will be Thursday and Friday from 1 to 7. Saturday, it will be from 8 to 4. I did send out letters for the limb yard quotes that you guys give me permission to do. That the last meeting, I sent 6 letters to 6 different contractors that do this type of work. I got a response back from 2 of them. That was Smith Creek and Brewer Farms. Smith Creek's quote was for $44,425. And Brewer Farms quote was for $30,300. So my recommendation to the board would be to accept Brewer Farms's quote for $30,300.
What did we pay last year?
Right around a little over 25,000. Now that can be varied by the size of the pile.
It's a pretty
price
large pile
increase.
right now.
Yeah, it is.
You got the money to cover that?
Yes, there's money in a line item on the budget for limb yard.
Does contractor take the chips, carry those out?
Yes. Yes, they removed, that's part of the letter that I sent them was that they would grind them and remove all milling or chips.
We have no use for
No, I tried that last year and the chips are just not very good. They're stringy, and the chips that we create with that the electric department has a chipper. It's a lot smaller chipper. It makes a lot better chips. Those chips are saved. The Parks Department and I use those. Um, so yeah, these chips are just, I tried it, but they're not good.
A lot of junk stuff in there anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not.
It gets stringy and it's just, yeah. So, yeah.
All right, do we have a motion to accept Brewer?
I'll make that motion.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All
I'll
right.
need to
Thank
get
you.
a copy of those to Amy those quotes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will. Both of them came in on email, so I'll just
Okay.
send them the email to her.
Okay.
And then the last thing I had, last meeting, we talked a little bit about the sidewalks with the new, way that they were installed down on Jackson and then over on Walnut also. I've done some research, did a little more research after that meeting, to see what's going on with those. Basically I met with Nathan down there with Cash Wagner and we looked at them again. Just wanted to kind of give you a follow-up and an update on those, as to why those were done the way they were and that type of thing. Basically I went back and looked at the ProWag standards, which is the Federal Highways guideline for standards of the way you have to do things. ProWag stands for Public Right-of-Way Access Accessibility Guideline. Okay, so to be eligible for your federal grants, we have to follow their guidelines. So I went back and I started looking through their guidelines for these things, and basically the way they were done is the updated standard. Like it or not, that's the way that they've done this. And part of the reason their explanation for this is when ADA came out years ago, they were more concerned with physically handicapped individuals in wheelchairs and those type of things. Now these standards are leaning towards the hearing and the sight people. Okay. So the way they came up with these new standards is it looks like it's a trough or a chute to get you through there. But a person with a cane, a handicap or a blind person with a cane now can feel the sides of those two curbs and they know exactly where to go to cross the road. So that was kind of what I gathered through my research on it. I've looked at them since then. I've been looking at a lot of communities. I was in St. Louis a couple of weeks ago. They got them all over downtown St. Louis. I looked around the square in Jasper. They've got them all around the square in Jasper. I was in Louisville. I looked up there and they've got them too. Now, whether we like it or not, that's kind of where things are going. Nathan, you got anything that I kind of left out on it or anything that you want to add?
Two main things they're trying to do is direct people where they need to go and prevent them from shouldn't go. So in other words, if the handicap ramp is trying to direct you north or east or west across the road, that's the purpose of the curbs. Then also trying to prevent people from going 45 degrees out to the middle.
And you're talking about the new standard is the third in Jackson, correct?
Yes.
And why wasn't the second Jackson done like that then?
Second in Jackson, we didn't replace all of them up there. A lot of them have to do with, and I could have brought it along. ProWag has a booklet of standards, and there's about 25 different standards in there because of where the sidewalk is in relation to the curb. Is it right behind the curb? Is there a green space in there? Is there an inlet in the middle of it? There's a lot of different factors that play into it. And I've been talking with Nathan on this. From now on, when we put out community crossing projects, we're going to specify which ramp they have to put in there. In the past, we've left it open kind of to the contractor to put an ADA compliant ramp in there. Now we're going to specify which ones they have to put in there. So, now, will they all be the same in the city of Huntingburg? No, I'm not gonna stand here and tell you they are. They're not. They can't be, because there's too many variables that play into that. So,
What you won't see is what you see on Fourth Street with a full radius where anybody can walk in any direction you
Yeah,
want off that.
because I mean, the perfect example is go down here to Fourth and Jackson, close your eyes, take a cane like a blind person would, and walk out in there, and you can cross Jackson, if you're walking down Fourth Street to the east, and you get to that crosswalk, that has the truncated domes, all, like the mayor said, all the way around. So now as a blind person, if you feel those truncated domes and you stop and you take off, you may walk out right in the middle of the intersection. You have no idea. Okay, so that's what they're trying, that's what PROAG's trying to get away from, allowing things like that to happen. Because it's gonna force you to, like Nathan said, go one way or the other. So. Any other questions on that? Again, I'm not changing anything. That was just more of an information thing than anything. Other than that, any questions for me on anything?
I don't think any of us are happy with it, but it is a new standard and.
Yeah,
ADA is an unusual.
ADA and PROAG is an ever revolving thing. They're always looking to change things. I'm not saying they make them better, but they think they do, so. Good, thank you.
Jason's still here. Can I ask the board maybe to revisit the roof on the street department? He's gonna need some direction. You wanna have engineers spec metal replacement roof, or how do you wanna address it?
I would like to see that.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
gonna spend some money having it all designed, redesigned, and
And then my,
go out for bid.
well, I'm gonna ask one more question on the other thing. Did we contact contractors to bid on
Yeah,
that?
we'll get you a contractor's list.
That we sent to everybody?
This one that was
And-
just bid,
Yes,
it was advertised in the paper. That's all we're
okay.
legally,
Yeah,
have
but
to
I think Universal Design also notified roofing contractors.
they may have on some of them.
They always do.
Yeah.
All, the engineers always notify contractors who would be qualified to do the work.
People that they've done work with or local people, yeah. But, yeah.
Well, I understand the advertising, but that don't always get to everybody in the paper, especially with our newspapers. They are like they are today. They just, nobody sees them.
We also listen to those on the state site now too.
We do our website.
Yeah.
And in the foyer.
I just think if we're gonna do this, we need to make contact us. There's some local people. I know Metal Tech at Ireland would be a good one to get to contact. I think B&A would, and I still think there's others around here.
Well, I suspect these bids are probably good for like 45, 60 days. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Really, we're to the point, with this one, there wasn't a lot of engineering specs provided on this. We did a little bit with specifying the type of material, but saying that we'll accept bids for other alternate materials and applications as a part of the bid. We approved that going out to bid here in this meeting, so, I say if we knew that, you all knew that was going out for bid, so we could have easily ourselves reached out to other contractors ourselves.
And I will do that from now on.
So-
I will do that.
We did that, but,
I mean, the option is to rebid it, but, you're gonna have to spec something. I think what the base spec was for this type of roofing, right, Jason?
This one was
On the
for
bid.
this type of roofing, but the alternate was,
But you
they could do their own, they could
Right.
put B&A could have came in this one and said they bid it as the alternate with a new metal roof. There was nothing that said, that's why this
We
one was.
didn't limit it. We didn't,
That's why the
limit
alternate was
the
left open as to how, whatever system a contractor wanted to list as alternate, they could do that. That's why it was done this way this time, was because the last meeting, when we talked about this, we said we were gonna have a base bid of the TPO, and then we weren't gonna limit the alternate to any specific type of work.
Okay, I must have missed that. I don't remember that, because if there'd have been any kind of a,
actually, I'm not sure you were at that meeting.
well, if there'd have been any kind of hint at anybody bidding any kind of roof, I know at least 4 people that I would have called to put in bids on that.
I'm not sure. We can go back and look back. I think, Carrie, you know, to your
It's
point,
prob, I
I
very well
think
could
you
have
were,
been,
you
yeah.
weren't probably there at that meeting, but that made it very clear that we will accept any type of, consider any type of construction
Right.
or replacement of the roof. It's just, we just gotta get it done, guys. We've gotta,
I agree, I agree.
we gotta have, I mean, this is, where do we start? I mean, this is leaked for what, 15 years? You know, yeah.
So my
Well,
question is, why do we have to get engineers involved with this? I mean, just for instance, when you have the limb yard cleaned up, you don't get an engineer to give specs to clean it up. Why can't you just send some letters to local contractors saying, hey, give us a quote to replace this roof? Why do we have to, I know you want to get this roof done, but to me, going through the engineers, that just drug it out even longer.
We need to have
Why-
somebody
why-
give us a little bit of feedback. Really, the writing of the specs wasn't that big of a deal, because there really wasn't much on this one. We, just included, actually, the alternate, bid 1 was actually what was bid as an alternate last time that we didn't accept because we weren't accepting alternate bids. So we said, okay, let's put that as our main bid, but as our alternates, let's accept any type of construction. We do get them involved for a couple reasons. One, to be able to analyze the bid system. They're not gonna be, they didn't design this. They didn't set the specific design specifications for this,
Okay.
and they won't in the future.
I mean, why can't we, is it because of the price is over a certain dollar amount? Why can't we just send, letters out to local contractors saying, hey, we want to replace this roof with what we got? Give us a quote.
Can we get it in
What-
30 days or
I mean, why
something?
can't we do that?
Public Works in excess of $100,000, have to bear the approval of an engineer, a licensed engineer. It's just state law.
Okay.
Public Works, it's gonna be over $100,000. It has to be designed properly by an engineer. And
Things
it
that
has
are
to be-
considered capital improvements
And that was-
too, or have
okay.
to be there.
Now, I think you got a couple of options with regard to the bids you've got. One of them is to reject all bids, and then you need to decide how to go forward, or you could take them under advisement, and hopefully they'll be good for another 30 days and could reconsider them at your next meeting and either award one at your next meeting or reject them then. But I think you need to take some action on these bids today. Either table them and reconsider them at your next meeting after you gather more information, or reject them all now and authorize whatever you're gonna authorize. For rebidding.
Well, I would make a motion to table it and then see what we can get in for alternate bids.
I believe we would have to make a motion to rebid, would we not, to re-accept bids? Or can we open the bid
You can table.
deadline date?
Yeah, well, you can table.
For us to take more bids,
But to take more bids, yeah, you'd have to reject all these and by the next meeting and then authorize rebid. And whatever specs or standards you want to require. I mean, if you come back with, with another contractor that proposes to do what you want to do at a certain price, you can't award that. You'd have to go out. If it's over 150,000, you have to go out for bids.
so on the rebidding process, we're looking at least at 30 days because of the public notices and everything that need to go out. My motion would be to reject this bid, the bids that are here, and rebid.
Well, I think we gotta, we gave a motion on the floor to table.
I'll remove that. We need to do that, and I'll second the mayor's motion.
Reject all bids.
And, we would need it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now make the motion that we rebid, keep it open, keep the alternates open that we had in this bid of on the construction and materials to be designated by the bidding contractor. And that, based upon public notice, I can't really put a time frame on it, but, that we can immediately go out that again. We really don't need to re-engineer anything. I mean, it'll be the same public notice we had, but give us an opportunity to entertain more bids, more responsible bids, realizing that some of these people, because of the process, may not bid again. They've been out here twice. And we've rejected their bids twice. I don't know if they're gonna make a third attempt at it, but, they have costs involved in bidding too. So each of these contractors, it's a risk of part of doing business, but mine is that we go ahead and rebid again, but allow those alternates to come through.
Well, I think if we rebid, it needs to be a full replacement because you don't want contractors to rebid with the same thing because it's just gonna get turned down again.
Okay? If you have anything to say, you really probably need to come up the podium and say what you need to say. We have some comments out here and
I will say, if you guys do a full replacement, you will need an engineer, cause you're probably gonna need a CDR from the state building, cause this is a class 1 building, just to add that to that. I can check on that too, confirm that.
Yeah. they will.
You probably will.
Anybody else? Anything here? Mr. Kissling? Yes, okay.
Just the outside looking in, I understand what you're saying about the metal roof. But as a supplier, there's several different types of metal roofs, so you might want to make sure you get the specification. Like you said, Carrie, you got the seamed in. You want standing seam, you want just a standard rib that they got out there. So you may want to throw that out as to what, are you just gonna go with the contractor's recommendation? That's my 2 cents.
And
I
we
think
would
your
need,
warranty on
we
the
would
metal
need to
roof-
inspect adhesion methods for those
Yeah.
different alternates too.
And I
so
think your
there
metal
could be
roof one
some-
is gonna be 25 years also, my opinion.
So I assume that the desire of the board is to authorize, preparation of specs and plans, and go out for bidding for full replacement? As an alternate to these or or solely as a replacement?
I would do it as an alternate to these.
So what we're gonna get here.
Hmm?
That's what I thought we were gonna get on the alternates, but we didn't.
I think we need to make sure that we've followed all the requirements for engineering, if there's engineering involved. This is a class 1 building, like our chief Hines said. And it's in excess of $100,000, and I'm pretty certain you have to have an engineer involved. Public Works in excess of 100,000. It's either 100 or 200. I have to look.
I thought it was at 150, so,
Well, 150 is when you
Yeah.
start public bidding.
yeah. Okay, so, we don't even have a second to my motion to rebid, so. We have rejected these bids and we're back to square one, or square zero, actually, so, all right. I'd just like to know what our alternates are, because that roof has to be replaced. We're not gonna bid other alternates then, and we're not accepting the 2 bids that we've received so far. I don't know what you want me to do. Think about it. We'll table it next meeting. I'm sure I'll bring it up next meeting. We got Police Chief Brad Kramer.
You want wastewater first?
I'm sorry, I skipped wastewater. I'd written all kinds of notes on top of your stuff there. I'm sorry, wastewater superintendent Brad Kramer. I did that once to you about 3 months ago, I think.
Yep. Good morning.
Too many scratches on my, next to your name here.
On the bright side, First Street is all concreted, so. We should do the final break on that tomorrow morning and get that hopefully opened up, so. Any questions on the report?
And I did speak to Superintendent Stom about striping that. Because it's concrete, we have to let it settle. So probably won't have stripes on it till next spring, to allow that concrete to cure and get all the salts and moisture and everything out of it, for the paint to be able to adhere to it. Plus it's a special paint we have to utilize, so it's best to do it in warm weather too, versus the cooler weather. But we'll get some striping on it next spring.
Plant's still rolling along.
Plant's rolling good. They're working on the chemical building, hopefully set trusses in a week or a week and a half. Once I get the equipment flown in there. UV and the Cascade is well underway. They're also doing the columns for the big overhang lower pads going and everything on the west side of the tanks. Welcome to come down and look at it. There's a lot going on. A lot of the concrete's pretty well done, but there'll be some coming.
And we're working on the centrifuge, right?
Centrifuge, we do has a cost. We're going through that. I think we got a meeting next week. Try to bring the cost down on that. Hopefully we can bring that to the November board meeting. We should have all the costs for First Street to be final, so we can get that turned in for December 1st to get that off the books.
I do want to add one thing to what Brad's saying about First Street. When was that this week? Monday, they were digging out a patch on the south side of the trench that they were doing. And they there's a storm sewer in there. The storm sewer is about this far under the concrete storm sewer. So they couldn't put back the concrete at the depth they were supposed to put back. I went down there with the Commonwealth's inspector, and the contractor. We looked at it. I made the decision to not put concrete back in that section. So we asphalted it. Let the contractor finish their concrete. So there is an asphalt patch in there. So if people see that, that's in there, because we're gonna have to tear that back out and try to lower that storm sewer. Whether we can or not, we haven't determined that yet, but there was no reason to have the contractor put concrete back in there, because it's gonna do the same thing as what it looked like right now. So I made that decision to do what we did.
Whereabouts is that?
It's on the south side. This is all the old panels. This is no
Old.
new
Okay.
panels.
Okay.
So
The only reason they were there was because I think there was a lateral.
there was a lateral, so there was 2 panels that were
Yeah.
in pretty bad shape. We're gonna try to replace them.
And then
But
came
when
across
they
that.
dug it out, it discovered the storm sewer, so they did the
Okay.
asphalt.
Okay.
And I'm sure Jason will try to get that fixed and possibly do some concrete panels on the
Yeah,
south
we'll
side.
put concrete back when we're done, but we have to dig out that, so I think it's 18 or 24-inch concrete pipe that's in there. And we're gonna have to try to dig it out and try to lower it, because there's not enough concrete to pop it. I just wanted to make sure we had that clarified, so that somebody that sees it doesn't get all bent out of shape, because there's an asphalt patch in there yet, and they're supposed to be done and all that. So I just wanted everybody to know what's going on with that, why it's left like that for now.
And the section from, Main Street to Jackson will be next year, because there will be some other
We do have some
replacement of
sanitary work.
utilities there and maybe some curb work. So we'll get that done next year. Unless you want us to dig everything up now. No. We got the road open. We're not gonna dig it up now, so we'll work around that.
One thing, 19th Street Lift Station, we've talked, it's been a while. Electrician's been at the asphalt plant getting all that done with their fire, but they finally got all the electrical work done for that third pump at 19th Street. They're actually setting it this morning, so it's finally gonna be complete with the triplex in there. That'll be good. Any other questions? Nope. Cool. Thank you. Have a good day.
Now we can have, our police chief come forward. Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you for correcting me on that.
Any questions on the report? Hearing no questions. This year's Herbst Fest, we've got no issues. It actually turned out really well. I thought the crowds each night were pretty well. We had a lot of good feedback from people there, of our officers interacting with a lot of them. Parade went well. We had a few people trying to get into the parade route once it started. Obviously, we can't do that, but so they just had to either park or turn around and go around. But some of them acted like they didn't know that there was a parade going on, which was shocking. But other than that, we didn't have any issues at the Herbst Fest or the parade. Moving on. Earlier last month, just to let you guys know, I believe I talked to you guys individually last month. Lieutenant Mullen did receive a job offer from another entity that he cannot refuse. So in other words, he's going to be retiring towards the end of this month. October 24th is the set day that he's got. So with that being said, I'd like to thank him for his 21 years of service. He's held a lot of different positions within our department, between the stuff he's been doing. So it's going to be hard to fill that position, but we'll get through it. So, and with that, I need permission to release his firearm to him for his retirement. So
I will make that motion. I know he'll get his badge and he'll get a couple other items as part of that. I say the same thing you did. I've had several conversations with Officer Mullen since he's decided, and I can't and wouldn't question his decision that he's making. It's a good thing for his family.
Yeah.
We'll be able to retire from our force, get other work and move forward. It's probably at a time of his life that it's happening at the perfect time for him. It's never a good time for us.
right.
But it is an amicable release, and you'll never replace his years of knowledge
Correct.
within the department. So, we're gonna miss him, but I'd make a motion. That was a long motion. Let's just say the motion is that we release the firearm at the time of his retirement.
I'll second that, and I also commend him on his long service to the city of Huntingburg. Yeah, he will definitely be missed.
So we have first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll be announcing a retirement, as we have with other employees that, well, a couple of employees didn't want a party, didn't want anything, but, as we did, a couple of months ago with the employee that retired, we'll do so, have a time together that's amicable for him and the department to,
Yeah.
people can come down and say hi to him and tell him bye and everything.
Yeah, we're gonna do something at the office, and I'll have Kinley share that with all of you guys as well. That way you're aware, and all the other departments, and then the outside departments that we work with, so they're all invited as well. With that being said, the replacement firearm has already been purchased. We've received it. Everything that we
we need for a firearm, as far as the sight, the plates for it, has already been gotten. So we are not going to be behind the 8 ball on that. So, with his retirement, obviously there becomes an opening, within our agency. So at this time, I'd like to have the approval to give a conditional offer to Jake Bagley for that position. And part of why I'm asking for the conditional offer now is because we cannot send him to perf until he has a conditional offer. And with that, we have to wait probably 2 weeks to get those results, which will come in just before Mullen is set to retire. So instead of being behind the 8 ball and asking after he retires, I'd like to get it done now. Just to get that way, as soon as he retires, we can hire somebody. So
I will make the motion to extend that conditional officer to Mr. Begley.
I'll
second.
We got a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. And we've been talking to him for about 1.5 years, I believe, so.
yeah, we've been waiting for this one.
We don't have a waiting list, but we kind of do. We have people
Yeah.
that want to be officers in the city of Huntingburg.
He's
so.
a reserve with us already. He's already completed his pre-basic stuff that he's got to get done. So he's set for his perf exam on the 7th, if I remember correctly. Once we get that back, and I've already contacted the academy, so he is #1 on the wait list at the Southwest Academy. And we're hoping, crossing our fingers, that he gets into that one, because that's the one Logan's going to as well. So we'll have 2 guys in that academy. We'll learn in December whether or not he gets to go to that one, or if he has to wait until July. But once he's sworn in, then we'll begin training immediately, so. But other than that, he's ready to go. He's excited, so he's excited to be here, coming on with us, as long as he's approved. The next thing here, we've submitted a grant application for a vest for our newest canine. Same company that we did with Romeo. It's Vested Interest Canines. We've already sent our application. We just have to send a few more pictures, which we just sent. And then we've already got the approval they already have the approval to make the purchase. So we're just waiting on them to accept the application at this time, and then we'll have to wait probably 7 weeks or something like that. And we'll have that vest in hand at that time, so. And after that, we'll submit another grant application for the med kit that comes from that same company. And also just give you guys a heads up, that company has bought a canine simulator that you can do 25 different medical things on, and they've provided it to ISP, and they are offering free training on how to use everything within that med kit. So we'll be sending both of our canine handlers to that once we find out about the training of when it is. So that way they're equipped with the appropriate stuff and know how to do that stuff if something happens. So. Then the last thing I've got, Logan's last day of field training is next week, and then he'll begin a shift on his own. He'll never work by himself. He'll always have somebody to mentor him during that time until he goes to the academy. So just moving right along with him. So any questions?
Thank you.
That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
All right, we have Fire Chief Don Heim. Yeah, you have want to start with the agreement? Report, however you want to do it.
Yeah, so we have been, Jasper Chief and I have, gotten with both of our city attorneys, and we've had an agreement. All the departments in the county are are working on this, different partners, but Jasper and Huntingburg would be partnering up for an automatic aid for confirmed structure fires or smoke in the area. It's not fire alarms, it's not false alarms, it's not any of that. It is strictly just for structural fires, not car fires, it's not dumpster fires, just structure fires. Where we would be paged out at the same time as Jasper. They would either bring an engine and four firefighters here for our fires, or we would take an engine and 4 firefighters to there to offer support, whether it's backup coverage for the city or we're their RIT team, a rapid entry team, so they can focus on the fire and we focus on their safety. We'll have that worked out. As far as what our responsibilities will be, it'll be a standard responsibility. There's policy that there will be a policy written up for the, it's not 10 guys all driving over to the state, to Jasper. It will be, they have to come to our station and grab a truck and the first 4 go. So I've got with Phil, Jasper got with their attorney. We've come to where we think it's pretty final. I went to the city council because it does have a little bit to do with funding or with monetary. It could in the future, but I'm not asking for an increase in budget. But it is a Board of Public Works, and I think we're ready to present this to sign if.
You have an estimate on how many times this would occur in a year based upon maybe the last 3 years?
I think Jasper runs about 5 to 7 runs a year, actual fires. We run 1 to 3 on a historical average. I mean, last year we had 5. You have ups and downs. I won't mention where we're at this year. So I would say I think they're probably about 5 or 6.
There's a big advantage to your men, is there not?
Absolutely. So when we only go to we only go to 1 fire a year or 2 fires a year. We don't get that experience. And so, the more runs that we can go to, the more experience we get, the better our firefighters get. This is also an ISO boost for our community of Huntingburg and Padoka Township.
Slower insurance rates.
Yeah. I mean,
Potentially.
this helps us get to that next level for ISO rating. It's not going to help us, unfortunately, this coming round because he is coming on Tuesday to do the audit. But it will definitely help us in the future. So it has a lot of, and then we just have better relations. We get to do we have to do mutual training with Jasper. So, we're going to pick up what they do. They get to pick up what we do. And we're just making both communities a little bit better in the emergency response. Strictly structure fires, though.
So the council's already put their stamp of approval on this too, and they are a fiscal body that's looked at the implications of that and the cost of return of that, and we all felt confident that that was something we need to do, and I'm fully in favor of it, so I would entertain a motion to accept the contract.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We got a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
All right, thank you.
And a lot of work you've.
Yeah, well,
back
we
and
want to get it
forth on the
right
contract,
and
so.
so Jasper, I think Jasper's taking, I think their meeting is I think it's next week, I think. And then as far as our, the monthly report, we do have a ISO audit next week. It's my first time going through it. Glenn's been through it a couple of times. But we're kind of anxious about that. Got a lot of changes and hopefully for the better. Hose testing is done for the year. thank goodness. So get a couple months off and we'll do it again, next year. Fire Prevention Week is coming up. That's also next week. And I think that's pretty much all that I have on my report, unless you have any questions.
No, and just because I've received some calls, I like to just have it here in the meeting today. During the testing of fire hydrants, we did have at least one that didn't pass. That is automatically sent over to the fire chief.
Yeah.
You'll see a bag over a fire hydrant. Don't get too worried. It is in a prominent place. We have verified that we have 1,500 foot of hose. We do have access to a hydrant if there's a
Yeah,
structure
we
fire in that
can
area.
stretch about 2 blocks to get.
We get a lot
to
of
hydrant.
chatter in the background outside of meetings, and I don't think we've ever addressed that in a public meeting that have addressed it with concerned citizen there, and they feel comfortable. You met with them, I've met with them, and so is Jerry Austin, but I had to bring it up because I
Sure.
saw it again last night, and
Sure.
it's like, people are staring at it.
Yeah, yeah.
That need to be replaced.
The parts have been ordered. It takes, we're probably still 2 or 3 weeks out of getting the parts.
The hydrant is here, but it's the part between the hydrant and the main. There's different depths and they can't keep all the depths. So they have to order that, and that takes just a little bit of time to get that in.
Takes like 4 to 6 weeks, I believe, for that, and was 3 weeks ago now. It's been.
So that's actually gonna be better because that's an older hydrant that did that, and so there'll be a new hydrant there, which I like to see because it has the 5-inch opening
Yeah.
versus the 3.5-inch. So I get better water when I get to a scene on
It's
those types of
I believe
hydrants.
that's a 1950 something hydrant. That's
That I don't know.
So,
I don't know. All right.
all right, thank you. Planning Director Paul Lake is not here today. He's at a we've got his, of course, building permits, just very limited there. We do have the Poplar Ridge, 12,144,760 on the first phase of that. They are under construction now. They have their concrete pours going on and everything else moving fairly quickly on that. We do have, I'd like to, from a code enforcement end of it, I don't know if Phil Schneider, our attorney, can kind of update us with a couple of the issues that we've been having, both with the hoarding as well as the Jackson Street property. If there's anything updated from a legal standpoint, I think you ought to comment, not me.
On the
so.
Jackson Street property, as you recall, last meeting, you affirmed an order to demolish that property at, I think it's 420 North Jackson. That property, and they have until November 15 or so to accomplish that. That property was up for tax sale and was not purchased by anybody at tax sale, so it now becomes essentially property of the county. And the county can, if they want to, offer it to municipals, and we'll see what happens there. But if that structure is not demolished by the November 15 deadline, the city's option is to go out to bids for the demolition, to do the work itself, and then to take a lien on the property. We would essentially obtain the property from the county commissioners by tax deed.
There are existing liens on the property
So
now.
we have to pay those liens? Get to
No,
take
we
it
would just,
from,
we would just forego any.
Just
you know,
accept
We would have already paid the contractor to demolish, so we
Okay.
would just not be able to collect it other than receiving title of property.
okay.
And the property could then be sold, maybe Habitat property or sold to a developer. It is a lot of record for which a house could be built on. The other, there is, another property which we have heavily leaned is on, North Washington Street. Again, I think it's about the 400 block in North Washington Street on the west side. The record owner is a McBride. It also, we demolished that building and we have a lien against that property of about $15,000 or so for the demolition costs. That property also did not sell at tax sale. So we are anticipating that the county commissioners may offer that to the city similarly. We had a hearing yesterday on the lawsuit brought against the property owners who were alleged to be violating the hoarding ordinance. The property owners appeared in court. They agreed, stipulated to the entry of a judgment against them for violation of the ordinance. They agreed to a permanent injunction and permanently enjoining them from violating that hoarding ordinance on that property in the future. And the judge gave them 30 days to come in complete compliance and set a review hearing on November 6th. And he will at that time take under advisement whether or not to impose fines based upon what efforts they have made to comply with the ordinance at that time. So that's where we stand with those issues.
It is, and then, Paul did do some work, with the, removal of the station that was down here. We had asked for permission to enter the building. We were kind of not really denied, but kind of held off, looking at that. They informed us, rather than us inspecting the building, that they would rather just demolish the building and move on. Seems to be a little bit of halt, so we'll get an update on the, buildings are still standing. They have removed, did have an environmental company come out and remove siding that was suspected of being asbestos. We don't know whether it was or not. And unknown materials within that building were removed by an environmental, two different environmental companies that were actually involved in that, as well as any freon and those type of things that are required to be remediated prior to demolitions. All that's all been removed. So we're hopeful that they'll continue with that process. Paul will be following up on them to find out what the status is on the other buildings. So we don't know what the future uses are. We can only guess, and it's not good to guess. So we don't know. That's all we got for his report. We have, right now we have Safety Director Andrea Brown.
Morning.
Morning.
Any questions on anything? We are preparing for open enrollment to open up next week, on Tuesday. And we, again, for this year, there's no major changes to the plan. And we don't have any, premium increases. So I think we're going on 9 or 10 years of no premium increases. So kind of holding our own.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I know you got the safety topics you got
Yep.
on your report here, and quizzes and things you want to do there,
Yep.
but
We're finalizing those all for next year.
final ADA and Title 6 plans have to be submitted to the state here
Yep.
in October.
Yep.
And we'll have those done. That's have to be updated at least 2 years, I believe.
3 years for ADA and Title VI is 2, maybe,
2.
I think.
And you might as well just do them both at the same time, but
Yeah.
it's, all right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney Phil Schneider, I don't know, you have anything additional?
I hate to keep beating a dead horse, and maybe it's a dead horse, but on the roof bids, by rejecting all bids, I think you're kind of burning some bridges. You may, in your investigations between now and the next meeting, find that the roof replacement is totally unaffordable. And so the bids that you've received are the best option, given the budget and the affordability. But if you reject all the bids, you can't award it. You foreclose that possibility. You can't come back next meeting and award one of those bids. And maybe you don't want to. I don't know. I just want to make sure you understand that. I assume you could, if you wanted to reverse that, that motion and that action at today's meeting. But you don't have to. That may not be your desire. But I just want to make sure everybody's clear that by rejecting them, they're gone. We can't award any of those bids without rebidding the whole project. And that may be what you want. I don't know. I just want to make sure you all understand.
I think so.
Okay.
Clerk treasurer, I know we have Amy here. Clerk treasurer, okay. Any other items or board items? Any citizen items today? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second.
We got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
That's
Motion
easy.
carries of adjourn, 9:49 AM. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Let me,